Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about upcoming full moon coming up on March 7th. This is a powerful full moon because it's all about detoxifying our system, preparing us for the upcoming season, and it may inspire us to reflect on our past, to let go of everything we've kind of consumed and adopted through this winter season, so we can fully let go of what's not serving us anymore, and we can prepare our vessels and especially our minds for this great upcoming season. It's coming in the zodiac sign of Virgo. So Virgos, I'm a Virgo. So Virgos are all about mental work. They are well disciplined. They can be well organized if they know how to organize their minds. But they can also be well self-critical, right? So a lot of this self-criticism may be a bit more louder right now. And it's actually beautiful because you're becoming aware of that part of you. And I will give you some guidance later how to work with that, how to kind of create a relationship with yourself where you can kind of form it a little bit. You know, that inner critic is important because it helps us to improve our work. It helps us to upgrade our character, to work hard on what's important to us. But if it is too loud, it may start blaming us for not working hard enough, even though we may work hard. So it may give us a sense of guilt, a sense of tension, like we are never enough, and so on. So I will tell you how to navigate this present energy, and I will try to ground information as much as possible. So first of all, March opens a season for detoxifying from past thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and food. If we go into ancient Chinese philosophy, March is the time for detoxifying your body. And usually they look it on our diet that way. During this season, the Chinese recommended avoiding red meat, cutting out alcohol, and reducing sugar intake, as this all cause heat in the body, leading to inflammation. They also recommended a few foods like asparagus, bitter melon, carrot, celery, green beans, pumpkin, radish, and tomato. And when it comes to herbs, they recommended cooling peppermint, which is something I love to make a tea out of it, daisy and yarrow. So few suggestions. Of course, make your own research, but I like this idea because I feel like what I'm eating right now is really, really light, and when I've started reading and doing some research, it all resonated with me because that's how I felt it. So do what you feel, my friends, but here are some recommendations that may help you on this phase right now. They were looking on diet always based by the cycles of nature. So what the nature provides right at this moment is what should be consumed, to live in the cycles of nature and therefore to live in harmony with nature. That's their philosophy. It can help you to detoxify your system and awaken that pleasant energy within your body. So consider to make some detoxifying at this time because it will help you to work with this present flow of nature. You will attune yourself to the present cycle of nature, and it will help you to be more creative, be more grounded, but at the same time more peaceful, as many interesting things are happening on the world. You need to do a few things so you can stay in balance with yourself. And for example, previous video was really powerful when it comes to protecting our energy and strengthening our energy, which is also something I will mention today. The second thing that comes to this full moon in Virgo is that it's important to reflect on how much time you dedicate for service to others, and see if you could upgrade your life in this area a little bit. So what it means? Well, Virgos are all about service. They're fully fulfilled. They're the most fulfilled when they are serving others. But it's not just about Virgos. We're all social creatures. And what is fulfilling us the most is helping others, working together with others in a sense of a community, building that coherent connection with one another. And sometimes we may be lacking that. I know in the past I had no idea how could I help others, so I often felt a bit like something is missing in my life. And then when I've started making those videos, I've recognized that more than anything, it gives me that sense of fulfillment. And then later when I've started helping people and connecting with more people all around the world, I recognized that it feels like a mission. Like something within me was always calling me to do that work. And we all have a sense of a mission within ourselves. Like we are all here on a mission with a purpose. And reflecting right now on this sense of what kind of work you are kind of doing for others may awaken maybe awareness around your purpose, like why you're here at the first place. So reflect on that. It may help you to recognize like why you've been born right at this time. Like what's your unique contrast to this society? Because each of us have something unique about ourselves. And of course, because of all the conditioning and what I mentioned before, all the thoughts that we adopted from our environment, beliefs we've created, because of all of that, we lose the sense of the self. Like what makes me unique, what makes me special, not in an egoistic way, but how could I use what makes me different as a mission for my life's work? And you will notice that maybe what makes you different is that you have a generous connection with animals. You can feel them. You may be able to communicate with them. Or you have a really beautiful sense for kids or whatever it is. And it's already something that makes you unique. And I would consider in this case to find a work or create a job or a business or something around this area. And that's something really, really important. And if you pay attention to that, a great sense of awareness may arise in this area, which is beautiful to know yourself better and to recognize how to experience a greater fulfillment in your life as a byproduct of finding something that can provide you that service to others. Beautiful thing. The third thing that I want to remind you for this full moon is to deal with your self-critic. And of course, it's not something that we just do once and we say the job is done, right? We need to actually develop a practice that can help us every time that inner critic is louder. And I've noticed for myself, I had a period where where my inner critic was really, really loud recently. And then I've started reflecting on it, and I've noticed that it's because of some of my fears of being criticized, fears that I'm not good enough, and things like that. So when I've started reflecting more on those fears, I've recognized that we are only afraid of what we don't want to lose, right? So it comes from attachments. And that's something I've talked in the previous video. So we are afraid that we will lose something we love. So we attach ourselves to what we love, and therefore fear starts controlling us, because if you lose it, then there will be a problem. So how I'm dealing with fear is that I question what would be the worst case scenario in this situation. And I accept it. Like, what would I do if that would happen? What would I do if that worst case scenario would happen? And like I mentioned yesterday, I always notice the same thing. I would be left with my knowledge and my experiences from the past, and therefore at some point I would use it and create something new out of it. So that realization made me to let go of a lot of those fears, but also the awareness around this self-critic became stronger because I've noticed, well, I have nothing to lose, right? Even if I lose whatever material, what's the most important, right? Self-knowledge, experiences, memories will stay with me. And with that, this is priceless. With that, I can build anything I want, right? So it helped me to use my inner critic for improving my work, but not for allowing it to control myself, right? Another practice to deal with your inner critic is that you can visualize how your inner critic looks like. Like if you would see yourself, a version of yourself, somewhere in the corner, like you can visualize a room in which there's a version of yourself that represents that inner critic. What kind of clothes he or she is wearing, and how he or she looks like well taken care of, or he or she looks more like stressed out and angry or depressed or whatever. And develop a compassionate conversation with that part of you. Like you can express gratitude for thanking that part of you for guiding you and for helping you to improving yourself, for helping you to keep up with your work. But then also express your concerns, like the way you're guiding me is not really healthy for us, because most often I feel guilty because you're trying too hard. Most often I feel like I'm not enough because you're trying too hard. So we need to find a balance. Like what would be a beautiful balance we could develop in our lives? And you start building a relationship with that part of you. And you may notice how the posture of that part of you relaxes, facial expression may change, and you may notice that he or she becomes more organized and much better dressed, or whatever may change. And you may notice that also something in your body may change. That's the practice that's often used in self-hypnosis and is really powerful. And I'm sure you can find it on YouTube, like self-hypnosis for inner critic. And some people are using this kind of a technique for dealing with that. But I would prefer to firstly deal with your fears, because most people are guided by fears. And sooner or later, we need to deal with them. Because if we don't, we'll be controlled by them, right? And the only way to really get out of this system that is based on fear is deal with our own fears. Then the fourth thing I want to mention here, that this is a beautiful time to strengthen your energy, the pillar of the self. This is the fundamental part of yourself, what we call I am. How to strengthen this fundamental pillar? Well, firstly, we need to ask ourselves from what this fundamental pillar of myself is made of. It's made of intellect, right? It's made of awareness. It's made of beliefs. It's made of emotions. And it's made of this spiritual part of us that we could call, at this point, intuition. And to strengthen this pillar means that we firstly strengthen our intellect by educating ourselves about knowledge that can open our eyes and help us to grow, help us to uplift ourselves. Then our beliefs. We need to make sure that we are overgrowing our old beliefs, right? Because some beliefs may not be helpful for us anymore. And in order to recognize our beliefs, we need to work on self-reflection, to notice where we've been triggered, where we felt limited, or what kind of story we are telling to ourselves when our life is not going the way we would like it to be. And all those questions and reflection will be leading us to our core beliefs. And beliefs may be changed. I've made a video how to change your beliefs, so you can go and check it out. It's more precise. But changing our beliefs is something that is important, because if you don't upgrade your mindset, you can try as hard as you can, but not much will move, right? And then we have the third part, which is our emotional system. Most of our emotional system will be released when we take care of intellect and beliefs. But still we have traumas from the past. Those are memories that we hold within our soul from hard events that happened, that hurt us. From events that hurt us. And in order to release that kind of an energy that is stored within us, we need to practice forgiveness and, of course, self-awareness. To notice that we've developed a false stories around what happened because we had no knowledge what truly happened. And the function of our brain is to develop a meaning out of what we feel, right? And if we don't upgrade our brain with the right knowledge, our brain will design a false story out of what we know from what we feel. And this is something really important to understand, because so much of science is now coming up on healing the traumas and awareness of how our brain is changing during those traumatic experiences. And because of the science of neuroplasticity, we can learn that we are not doomed by that, right? We may went through something heavy, and it may hurt us, and it may shape us into who we are today. But it doesn't mean that we will stay like that forever. We can change. When you change your mind, like when you upgrade your knowledge, when you expand your awareness, your brain starts changing. Through meditation, through taking greater self-care, being active, spending more time in nature, under the sun, taking care of some breathing practices, really important to add some new oxygen to your brain, more oxygen to your brain. You're changing your brain. And then diet, of course, some root vegetables are really great for our brain. When we take care of all of that, we start changing our brain. And therefore, it's much easier to comprehend what truly happened in our past. And therefore, we can release that stored energy. So this may sound a bit complicated, but if we go step by step, we can do a meditative practice where we go into our childhood and we become aware of a certain memory where we've been hurt and we've been crying and we've been sad and in pain, in misery, and we felt like the whole world is around us, and you can just hug that little kid. Hug your younger self and tell to yourself that that life may be tough sometimes, but eventually you will learn what's your uniqueness. You will learn what's your beauty, and you will learn what was the purpose that you needed to move through it, because what you've been through, you're not aware of this right now, but it is building a muscle that only you will have. It is building a strength within you that will be uniquely yours, and it will help you to change the world in a certain way. And as you tell those words to your younger self, you may develop a sense of gratitude for whatever you've been through. That's something really, really powerful. So consider to take some time and reflect what are your most frequent emotional sensations and triggers, and reflect on them. And then the last thing, the fifth thing I want to mention for this full moon, that it is a great time to find a support in any area of your life you feel like you can't handle it alone. So why is that important? Especially for Virgos. I know for myself, I want to do everything alone. But I've learned in the past that that's something that may really exhaust us or drain us. We shouldn't do everything alone. That's why there's so many of us, right, on this world. So if you feel like there's an area you can't handle alone, like you need some help with your diet, with the knowledge, like what kind of food would be good for you. Of course, we have intuition, and intuition may help us to tell us what kind of food feels lighter and better for us and what kind of food feels heavier. But sometimes in the beginning of our journey, that connection is not so strong yet. So in case you need help for that, find somebody whom you can trust. Or dealing with your traumas and emotional heaviness, emotional baggage that you're carrying with you, or mindset, or business, or finances, whatever it is, consider to find somebody who can guide you. And sometimes a book is enough, right? Sometimes when we set an intention, the right book finds us. I've noticed for myself that until now I was always guided to the right knowledge. Just at the right time, I came to the right knowledge. And I never follow to what kind of books people are recommending to me. Because sometimes I bought some books that were recommended to me and they never resonated with me. But the books I found like intuitively or spontaneously were always the ones that changed or at least upgraded my understanding of myself and the world around me. So before, when I was talking about strengthening your energy, I forgot to mention the intuitive part, which is intuition. And intuitive part, it's better to mention it right now at the end of this video. Our intuition is always guiding us, but because most of us are living in our minds, we don't fully know how to recognize the difference between our fears and our intuitive guidance. And something I mentioned in the previous videos, and I will repeat it here, is that fear may often tell you what you shouldn't do, while intuition may tell you what you could do. But often we don't want to follow intuition because it is turning us onto the hard path, onto the heavy path, full with ups and downs, because intuition understands that in life we need to move through ups, but more importantly through downs, because only that way we learn, right? And as we're moving through ups and downs, we're growing the most. And that's what gives us a sense of fulfillment, a sense of growth, a sense of expansion, a sense of meaning we also provide to others. And when we choose intuition, we usually choose the hard path, but we choose a path of fulfillment, something that fear can never provide. So the choice is always yours, but I'm here as a messenger to tell you what worked for me. So this is something that can be used for this present time as much as I sense. And if any of that resonates with you, I'm happy for you. So I hope you found something valuable. And my friends, I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. I hope you've enjoyed in today's painting. Thanks to all of you for supporting my art in my Etsy shop. I draw my passion. You're all truly appreciated. I love you all. Stay beautiful, stay creative, and one love.